Well, in this business bite, I want to talk about pruning. Well, none of us like pruning, but if you don't prune roses, you don't prune trees or certain trees or bushes, then they won't flourish the next season and produce the blossoms or the growth that is needed for them to produce better fruit. And when we had orange and mandarins and all types of fruit trees, and unless we pruned them, they got very green and very long, but all the energy and growth was going into the branches and leaves, but actually not in producing fruit. So I want to challenge you to think about pruning as a strategy and discipline to prune regularly as a way of growth. And I just want to share 3 points around this area of pruning for growth. Number one, prune the good that's not the best. We tend to only want to prune the dead things or the bad things, but I learned in advertising in our department, when we pruned at the lower level of what's not working, systems, it might even people in the wrong position, needed to be in a different department. When we did the pruning, if you like, the whole department lifted to another level. It's easy to leave alone something we think's good, but actually good is not great. And the interesting thing is the life of a company should be focused on 20% of all the activities they're doing, because they are the most profitable and the ones that are going to bring growth. But often we leave the 80% alone or don't want to cut them or prune them because they're not losing money, but they're actually not the life of the company for the future. An interesting story is around Steve Jobs. When he came back to Apple, he noticed there were 40 different types of computer options. And he said, there's no way our customers can understand the differences and the number of options. So what he did was, and that it doesn't mean they were losing money, but there wasn't the future for them. So what he did was he cut this 40 computer options back to 4 options. And that helped them reinvent the business to take it to a whole new life. So 20% probably of your business is the life of the company. And that's where you need to focus and need to start looking at pruning things that are okay or good, maybe even making a bit of money, but are not going to grow and are going to take a lot of resources. And get rid of even departments that don't fit the future of where your company is going. The market is changing constantly and you need to be ready to change. Number 2, you look at the sick versus the well branches. In any tree, bush, shrub, there's always sick branches and there's always well branches. So there are some people will resist trying to even help any branches. They want to keep everything. But the sick branches need input or getting rid of. The dead branches obviously need to go, and the well branches need fertilising. They need often trimming to grow to the next bit of life. But divisive people, if after you've had a second meeting with them, want to stick with things that aren't working or are dragging the company down, you need to reject a divisive person. St. Paul said to Titus, reject a divisive person after a second meeting. It's not bad advice, because if someone's not allowing or actively resisting making a change to make the company healthy, there needs to be some pruning going on. Number 3, there are some that are dead branches. I sort of referred to this in point 2. But in our business, there are products that are dead. In some ministries, these ministries don't bother anybody because they're actually not doing what they set out or their original vision and charter was. We need to be kind how we make changes, because some of them are people's ideas and they're passionate about it. But if they're going to drag down the ministry, the church, your business, then we need to be kind how we deal with it. But the change needs to be made. And and a good leader in handling this will know what causes hurt or pain and will make the changes, but learn how to do them in a productive way without creating too much antagonism or opposition. I'm sure there will always be some, but good leaders know how to deal with it. And there are certainly in the supermarket products these days that if you have a long, what they call SKUs range or different levels of how many product alternatives there are, the supermarkets through their own shelf management and research and stock turns will actually tell you that they're going to eliminate your 15 range down to 5, because they are the ones that are only stock turning so much per week. That's all we want, because that's taking up valuable shelf space. You need to be on top of this before they tell you, because you could be stuck with a whole lot of product in your warehouse or in transit or even in the supermarkets, who will then be leaning on you for a major reduction to move that product. So you need to be constantly evaluating your products and services. Are they relevant today? I say to business people that the global financial crisis and the growth of social media at the same time has changed the way we do things forever. And people are buying, ordering, reviewing, analysing differently. And are you ready and up to the challenge to be looking at your business? A full warehouse of product is not hurting anyone except yourself, because you've got to pay for that product. And if it's sitting there, it's not earning you any money. You need to learn how to keep turning that product over. Many people have warehouses full of product that's been there for years because they don't want to get rid of it, but no one wants it. You've got to learn, how do I cut the losses and create space or reduce space that I don't longer need anymore, because that's costing me money in rent. So there we go. There's 3 tips on pruning. Pruning's not comfortable, but it actually brings results. So learn how to prune. Thank you.